Hi, and welcome to Business as Usual. I'm Deneen O'Donnell, and today I am with Lance Calvert, who's a co-owner of Branded in Butler. And a lot of people may not have ever heard of Branded in Butler, and it's really cool. So tell us how this store got started.
Brendan and myself, we're brother-in-laws, co-owners of Brandon and Butler. It started, we used to do eBay separately. It used to be
Okay.
two different businesses.
Selling the same items you do now, or
No,
oh,
we
okay.
would sell, so we were both in the military.
Oh, okay.
Brendan was in the Army, I was in the Marine Corps, and I moved back. He was still in Ohio at the time, and he was selling like clothes more than me. I would sell on Amazon books and stuff.
Okay.
So then he ended up moving back to Butler, and we ran out of space in our houses. Our wives started to get a little upset with all the rooms getting
They
overtaken.
kicked you out, huh?
Pretty much kicked us out. So we said, hey, let's get a warehouse together. And we got the warehouse, and within 2 weeks, we're like, we're doing the same thing. Why don't we just do it together? When we were selling at a flea market one day, Brendan found a box of vintage Harley shirts. Paid like $10 for like a box of it. And started selling them online and getting really good money for them. We're like, okay, there's something here. We started going down to Goodwill in Pittsburgh, picking people's brains, learning about vintage a lot more, and we decided to niche the store down into just vintage. It started off with just vintage, and now we have a lot of shoes that go with the fashion. So we did that. I knew Aaron, the owner of the building, said, hey, you still have that building for sale or for rent? Can we move? Can we maybe rent it off you? And he said, sure. So it took us about a year to renovate. We'd save stuff up, run out of money, sell the stuff off to finish renovations, and eventually opened up September of 2019. So about
Very cool.
5-6 months right before COVID.
Of course. And then you probably had to shut down right
And
away.
we shut
huh?
down.
Yeah.
We shut down for like 2 or 3 months, but then as soon as we opened back up, it was honestly, I know COVID hurt a lot of businesses. A lot of had to shut down. It probably was a good thing for us. It really stimulated like the economy for our clientele, and they
Yes.
came in and really helped us get a jump start off.
So tell people a little bit about some of the things they can find here in your store.
So we sell 80s, 90s streetwear, so stuff like myself, Brendan would have wore as kids.
You're young.
Don't feel it most days. So, Harley shirts, band tees, old tour tees, Nike, Adidas, old Levi denim, women's vintage from like the 70s, like old polyester dresses, stuff like that. Mostly it's like a unisex store, so like mainly t-shirts and sweatshirts, but we're trying to branch off and get into more like fashionable items. And then we also sell like newer shoes that are released today.
Yeah.
So Jordans, Yeezys, stuff like that.
Well, the store is beautiful, so I can
Thank
tell
you.
you guys really worked hard on it. And, they say that fashion, I always said if I'd have kept what my mother wore in college, I'd have been so in style when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that you have some other products over here to the side. What kind of other things besides clothing?
So
And shoes.
besides clothing and shoes, we do sell. I think the only other thing we sell is like shoe cleaning products.
Okay.
So it's a company called Crap. We're one of like 5 or 6 places in the United States that sells it. So like Foot Locker, those
Okay.
kind of stores sell it, and we were able to get a contract with them to be able to sell it in our store as well.
That's fascinating. Now, is it just you and your brother-in-law that are usually managing the store? Or do you have family members that help you too, or is it just the two of you?
So it's the two of us, but then probably it's been about 2 years now. We hired our manager Kelsey, and she does a lot of the day-to-day operations here at the store because we just last year out in East Butler we started a textile recycling facility.
Oh, wow.
So that's how. So we used to go to like Atlanta, the Goodwills, they call them rack stores, like the thrift stores.
Yeah.
And to find everything, because it's not like you can go to a manufacturer and say, hey, I need 200 pieces. It's all unique, one-of-a-kind pieces.
Okay.
So we'd go down to a warehouse in Atlanta to pick out like the vintage. They'd already have it curated. We would just go down and pick it out. And we're like, it was just me and Brendan at the time. I'd work the store for 7 days. He'd go out for 7 days to look for stuff. And we're like, we can't do this by ourselves, and we can't continue to do this
Yeah.
and be gone all the time. So we're like, they call them rag houses. So it's like a textile recycling facility. So we've kind of cut out the middleman and
Okay.
become our own suppliers.
Very
So we
cool.
go through about 80,000-ish pounds of clothes every month.
Wow.
Pull out everything that we deem sellable for the store, and then the rest of that goes overseas to Africa and Central America.
Wow, that's very admirable. And I also admire you for taking advantage of opening a business in downtown Butler because, you know, as downtown Butler thrives, so does the community. What made you decide to open your business here in downtown Butler?
So I grew up 5 minutes just up on West North Street, and I've always had a passion for downtown and Butler in general. And we thought that it would be a good place to open up. There was a good amount of foot traffic, and we wanted to create a destination for the city of Butler for people to come, because we have travelers from Pittsburgh and all around that come to our store.
Wow. Tell us what your hours are here.
We are open 7 days a week, 12 to 9, and we see that probably being our hours for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
You always hear that you come downtown and nothing's ever open. So we've kind of tried to break that stigma and try to get other businesses to try to stay open later as well.
Awesome.
To give,
I hope you can.
to try to revitalize the city of Butler and make it a destination for people that want to come down and shop and eat.
How can people find out more about your business?
So we're on all social media: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It's just Branded in Butler, and then we also have a website, brandedinbutler.com.
Well, folks, if you've never been to Branded in Butler, I encourage you to stop by here. You're going to find some really cool stuff. For Armstrong, this has been Deneen O'Donnell with Business as Usual. Thanks for watching this episode of Business as Usual. If you want to see more, just click on the playlist button up here. To keep up to date with all the shows from the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel, you can click on the subscribe button down here. See you next time.